Hey, Felipe, how's it going? So, a while back, Antonio sent me a bunch of stuff that he makes in order to check out. And I love the idea of the JAMMA adapter. I say idea because I haven't tested it yet. but So you plug this into your JAMMA, and then this accepts a VGA signal, and then you could use this for controller, and then you could swap things in between it. So I think for somebody, I'm hoping, I'm projecting here, but I'm hoping for somebody that wants to use both a MiSTer and a Raspberry Pi, that this is going to be the easiest solution for them. I'm hoping. I haven't tested it at all yet, so we'll see. The only thing I did do, just to save us all some time and make it less boring, is I have, see where it says no preview available? That is just the Raspberry Pi image preloaded. That is it, nothing else. So I wanted to start with that just to kind of make sure that we had some kind of baseline to start with, but I'm going to be plugging this all into that JAMMA adapter. So let me plug all of this here real quick. So this is just let me my focus in here. So this is just a standard Raspberry Pi 4, nothing special, except it's got Antonio's VGA adapter on it. What's very funny about this to me is I lined it up wrong, and I had it offset by one row of pins, and when, well, I guess I can't stream today, the adapter's broken. And luckily I turned it sideways and went, no, I'm just a moron. And I slapped it back on, and everything was working fine. It is RGB HV, it's not RGBS, so you will need something like the HD15 to SCART if you're going into a SCART device, because that's a sync combiner, as well as something that lowers the voltage to be safe enough. However, you cannot use this with scalars because the RGB Pi image is always weird with scalars. I don't know why. Now, that said, I can't imagine why you would want to use a Pi with scalars, because you could just use the HDMI out of a Pi, but wanted to put that out there for anybody wondering. So I think I'm going to start with this, but I will kind of hang out in the chat for a moment, maybe throw some ROMs on this too, just to test compatibility and see. Hey, what's up, Geek? Which JAMMA boards do you have? So let me throw some ROMs on this while I wait and see if anybody has any suggestions of anything they want me to test. And if not, I'm just going to toss some ROMs on here and go from there. You know, I still use that Rosenway USB hub that I talked about a long time ago, what, a month and a half ago or something like that. And I'd been testing it for months before that. And I really got to say, like, this thing has been awesome. Like, I just put the micro SD card in and it didn't read. So I went, okay, well, I guess I have to power cycle or something, because that's just sometimes happens with my USB reader. And nope, all I got to do is press that button and it reset it for me. Love it. Oh, Dip Slayer, I absolutely always test MK1 for all the reasons. Omen1 / thank you very much. And Ian, holy crap. Ian, I should be sending you $20 on the 4th. You're the one that defends our country. I'm the fat one that just sits here and talks about it. Thank you very much, sir, for the super chat. That is very kind of you. I really appreciate it. I will make sure to try to stretch something to 16:9 for you today, just because. Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate it. So I think what I'm going to have to start out doing is just adding the network cable and trying to access it that way, because I couldn't see any of the ROMs on there. I know you're supposed to be able to hook up a USB stick to it, but that kind of drives me nuts, because all I want to do is just load up a couple of games. I don't need to continue to do that, so we'll see. Hey, what's up, Monty? Stretch it wide like the flag and freedom. For you, buddy. Just for you. Scepter Sever, is the Pi 4 worth the upgrade? So I've talked to a bunch of different RPi devs about this, and the consensus is Moving to a 4, yes, absolutely 100% worth it, but get the cheapest 4 you could find. A lot of the emulation can't take advantage of the extra RAM. I got the 8GB one just in case, because I have a feeling sometime, at some point, it's absolutely going to be usable, just not quite today. So if you're on a budget and you just want to get started, any Pi 4, yes, will absolutely be worth the upgrade over a Pi 3 and especially a Pi 2. And if you're really super into software emulation, using a PC is going to be the biggest jump you could possibly get. The reason that I am so gung-ho for Pi is because anybody can do it, especially the ones that I promote, because I can't stand it when projects that are supposed to be easy are by nerds for nerds, right? If it's something that's very obviously supposed to be nerdy, cool, great, but something like this is supposed to just be plug it in and try it on your arcade machine, and that's the advantage of the Pis versus anything else. Although I am going to be doing a PC JAMMA stream at some point. All right. Let's slowly move the camera over. Hopefully I don't make anybody dizzy doing this a bunch of times during the stream. Have Astro City sitting there next to the D32. Nice and wide for you, Ian. Nice and wide D32. And let me just kind of get this in focus. We'll go from there. Now, this is first try live on camera, so I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea if it's going to work. Would be very sad, but also hilarious if this all just exploded or something, but let's give it a try. So, CPS2 kick harness, plugging that right in. Trying to plug it right in. Doing it upside down. Nope. You know, I tried out those like video glasses for not Google Glass, but like the cheap ones to see if they could be usable for these live streams, and they were really bad. But times like this, I would love to just show you what I'm looking at here. It's not plugging in that easily. Is this the same connector? Maybe it's not the same connector. Maybe I'm getting stuck on something. Well, that's disappointing. It looks like a CPS2 connector. Right, there it is. I had to just kind of put it in at an angle to get it in. That was weird, but all right, well, it's in. I'm going to plug in the network as well. We can try to access the ROMs that way. Really, really tight fit here with everything plugged in that corner, but it should be okay. And I'm getting the actual JAMMA connector connected. All right. Make sure it's not shorting on to anything. Turn it on. See what happens. Now, for anybody who uses a Pi in this scenario, you have to understand that it's going to boot through its different. It's going to boot through a bunch of different stuff. So when you first power on a Pi-based solution, give it a second. And the first couple of times that I was able to do this, I kind of was like, holy crap. So, did it break? Does it not working? But no, it was totally fine. So it's having you map the controls. Pretty sure you can see that. Let me move the camera up so there's a slightly better angle, and then I'll pause in a moment and check the chats. Let's just, yeah, that's a little bit better. So select, I'm going to have coin, start, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't have any of that, so hold down any button to skip. Now, menu, let's see if it maps the service and test button. It does. I think it does. Okay. All right, so props to RGB Pi. That is absolutely a very, very easy way to map all of this stuff. When I did Recall Box a couple weeks ago, it was pre-mapped. So that was pretty cool, but you had to change a few things in the settings. I don't know which one I like better. It's two excellent ways of going about doing it. So I just, very cool. All right, so network connected. All right, I got my IP address. Let me see if I can copy a game from the IP, and now I will check the chat and see anything. How's that carpet for rolling things on casters? For big monitors and stuff, even the biggest monitors, it makes no difference whatsoever because I don't do it all day long. But the area where my chair is, I mostly use a standing desk, but for some reason I can't concentrate enough to write scripts or anything standing. I know it's not that it's not that smart of a thing to say. It's like saying I can't chew gum and walk, but I have to sit to write scripts. So I have a tall chair that matches my standing desk, and it's kind of ruining the rug underneath. But the rug is in good condition otherwise. We almost tore it up when we moved in, and I just thought, whatever. So, yeah, good question. Hey, K-Babs, thanks for joining. It is going well, and it's just a slow-paced, boring stream, so I like these a lot, actually. Ian, Bob, you know what's also 16 by 9? The American flag. America. Fuck yeah. Ian didn't say that. I added that last part. Thank you again for the super chat. That's pretty freaking awesome. What's up, Bubba? All right, so J-Rock, Multi-Williams, Arcade SD, or Aston Black Tiger. You got some good JAMMA boards. Nice. Oh, I was chatting and forgot what the IP address was. All right, 211. And doesn't look like I'm able to access anything so far. Hey, the real Phoenix. Did you catch that stream with those other NES shells? I gotta send you one of them. You let me know which one you want, and I'll send you up one. Show off your new board. What's going on, Belmont? Have I configured the Wi-Fi? No, but respectfully, that's why I connected it to Ethernet. So let's just see storage. So it's NFS, but it doesn't have a standard Windows share. Unit already in use. I guess I could set it up for RetroNAS, but that's not really the point of this stream. I just want to get a game on here as quickly as possible. So I think the best thing to do would be to use... Well, no, because I need to be able to swap games out of this, so I think I have to use a USB stick. Let me see if I got one laying around here that I could format quick enough. Bubba, that would be funny, except there would be a bunch of people that would think I was serious, and so that would immediately turn it from something fun and lighthearted into either, Bob's being disrespectful to the military or Bob's a meathead moron, which I am, but not for that. So, yeah, I would love to do that around friends one time. Yeah, Belmont, that's why I really like those two cases that I always rant about, the Retro Castle and the MiSTer Multi-System. Fan is quiet, everything's great. I just, not to say any of the others are bad, I'm gonna do a video, I'll do a video within a month or two about my favorite MiSTer boards, just to show people all that stuff. See what else we got. Hello from Argentina. Hello, sir. I have a JAMMA V3 that works pretty well from Spain. Nice. Oh, Real Phoenix, awesome. You just message me whenever you're ready. I'll send this stuff up. Yeah, Patreon only one. That would be kind of funny. Belmont, where did you get yours at the moment? Like which is the current one, MiSTer case that you bought, by the way? And let me look up RGB Pi instructions. I think I have to format the USB stick a very specific way. Damn, I forgot all about this. So let me try putting my USB stick directly into the Pi right now and having it see if I could use the software to format it or something. It's going to be a tight fit in here with everything else, but I'll see if I can make it happen. All right, I plugged the USB in. It says mounting. Unit mounted successfully, no games. So that should mean, if it mounted it, I'm hoping that means it added the file system to it. But we'll remove it and try again and see what happens. Let's just go from there. Ian, personally, I want a shot-for-shot remake of Thunder in Paradise starring Bob and Yahel. That'd be America as fuck. Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. Yahel could supposedly sing too, so yeah, I would absolutely do that. Slow motion run and everything. Man, titties flopping in the wind. I'm shameless. I don't really give a shit. Scepter. So using Ethernet versus Wi-Fi is going to be the same argument regardless of what you're using, whether it's a laptop or a Raspberry Pi or anything else. If you're in the middle of the burbs and you have a solid Wi-Fi signal where you're at, probably going to be the same. If you are in the middle of Manhattan, like where I used to be, or even a city, a decent-sized city, there's so much wireless interference. It might be a massive jump in speed going to Ethernet because of interference. So as long as you have a good wireless signal up there, you should be fine. Try to get one of the mesh network ones like the Eero or the other one, the Netgear one. Oh, Belmont, not even 100% sure. They have to source all your pieces individually. I think it's just a cheap aluminum case. Yeah, I mean, when possible, I would stick to all the major sellers. They've all kind of been working on this for a while. And Porks, I think, is fanless. Uses the case to dissipate it. And I think Pork left like the 486 core running a test on 24/7 for weeks, and it never exceeded the maximum temperature. And the fan in the ones that I use are so quiet you wouldn't even realize that it was there. So that is really funny. When I go to the RGB Pi wiki, I get a warning. Details. Visit the unsafe site. All right, so adding ROMs. Here we go. Format it in FAT32 or EXFAT. Let's see what this is formatted in. NTFS. Okay, so I got to reformat that. Corresponding for detailed instructions on how to configure an external USB or NAS drive, check the corresponding documentation in this wiki. Where is the link to the corresponding documentation in the wiki? File system layout. You could use SFTP to transfer it, but you know what? Let me try that. Let me rather than mess around with this. If the file system's already in here, RGB Pi. Port 22 Pi and RGB Pi. Let's see what happens. Did not connect. I did not select SFTP. My fault. All right, that connected right away. SD, ROMs. Here's the full list right over the network. So I should have done this first. I never needed the USB stick. Totally cool. All right. Arcade. MAME. All right, so I'm going to do a couple of things here. I want to try the MK Plus ROMs because I want to see how those work. But Mortal Kombat is always by far my favorite way to test these things because because of the off refresh rate, the scrolling. There's a lot of stuff on here that just makes MK so much easier. So I will demonstrate as soon as we're in. I think we have the files copied. Switch it back over here. Oh, no apologies, Bubba. I got it. All we need is Lewis here, and we could just start being assholes to each other, and it's okay because there's a bunch of comedians. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's remount the SD and see what we got for games. Storage, SD, unit already in use. How do I go back? Probably have to reboot or something for it to rescan games, which is fine. So once again, whenever you're using a Pi-based JAMMA or RGB solution, whenever it reboots or you turn it on for the first time, be very, very patient. How the hell is there so much dust down here? I just cleaned like 2 days ago. That's be crazy. If I ever got mega rich, I'd hire somebody to come and dust off all my controllers every day. No games. So I must have to do some kind of scanning or something, right? Scan games. Display USA info. Arcade Classics. There we go. That's all I needed to do. So let's try MK Plus. Start, focus. Okay. This might come out really loud. I don't know how to change the volume on it. Oh, I'm going to actually get ready to... Nothing. No, this is MK Plus. This is an original Mortal Kombat. So... let's try the other one. I know this isn't a fair test. I'm not messing with RGB Pi because of this. I'm just kind of showing what to expect whenever you're loading up ROMs and stuff. Everybody always makes it seem much easier. All right, here we go. So that's working. So there's no audio at all going through this. None. So I don't know if that means Antonio's adapter doesn't handle audio, or if I was... Wait. I think I was supposed to loop audio through the adapter. So let me play a quick round of this, add some more ROMs, and go from there. That's probably best too, because if it came out really loud, I would want to adjust that. I don't want to bleed through here. I'm very bad at this game. I love it. Smooth scrolling, so you can see it is just like the other OS, rebooting these games in their original. Okay, so that button's not mapped. The buttons are not mapped correctly for this. So let's see how easy it is to change the buttons. Controls, port 1 controls. So, low. All right, low kick. Low punch. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Very weird. That's high punch. That's, yeah, so the controls aren't mapped properly. So let's quit this. Let's go back. Quit game, and let's add more games, and let's also add that audio adapter. And I'll check the chat, of course. Scepter Sever, this is so far, I've only tried it for this 1 second that I'm showing you here, but this has so far been by far the easiest Raspberry Pi solution to map buttons. And I think the last stream I did with the RGB Pi, I was very fair, but incredibly harsh with how I criticized it, because it's not that the Pi, or it's not that RGB Pi does something bad. It's that all of these solutions kind of drive me crazy. So, all right, RetroNAS, ROMs. All right, let me copy a couple other games over. Start with MK again, just because that one's by far the best to use for a lot of stuff. Weird. Something's up with my ROMs. I don't have my full collection on here anymore. Well, that's odd. Really odd. Yakiam, do you mean keyboard to help map the buttons? So first and foremost, I am a very firm believer in, if you have a solution like an arcade machine, you should absolutely not ever need a keyboard attached to it. But as you saw in those menus, it is just kind of confusing. There is no very easy way to walk through it. It's not like a remap buttons, not like a one button push. There's no instructions on the screen that tells you what to do. Good call though, but just kind of something that I've always really wanted. Like I've always pushed, because I've always tried to build headless stuff like that. Trying to get it to work is very challenging. Can't believe I lost so many ROMs. I don't know what the heck's going on right now. Well, this is embarrassing. I have every ROM that I need for this exact scenario, and I don't seem to be able to find the ones that I actually need. What the heck? Does anybody here, anybody friends with me on Discord happen to have the ROMs that I need for this that I could just borrow? What a clusterfuck. Like 100 copies of Mortal Kombat. So Yakiam, that's what Recallbox did. They pre-configured everything so that you just wouldn't have to worry about that at all, which I thought was a very great way to go about doing it. It's just whenever you need to make changes, that's when things got a little weird. Wow, this is super embarrassing. My apologies. Let me keep looking. And if anybody has these ROMs, let me know and just drop them in the Discord chat. Thanks, Roger. Yeah, JPack is all manual, and this is a little bit more automatic, but essentially, it should be the same. Shouldn't really be that big of a difference. Yaki, yeah, the 2250 for a candy cab with a non-working monitor. So I get scammed on mine. It showed up completely broken, and I paid just about $2,000 for it delivered, which I do realize that a good chunk of that was the import charge, and they did a decent enough job putting it in a crate in order to get it over here. But yeah, that was really frustrating. And then, so I think what people have told me is that fully restored cabs that are working, recapped, everything actually the way they're supposed to be, are just going for like $3,500. Well, this is embarrassing. I'm actually just going download Mortal Kombat MAME. Scepter, yeah. Once I'm done and it's actually working, yeah, absolutely. It really is pretty incredible to be able to own one. But it's still, this is still a tool that I use. This is still not like a fully usable arcade machine because I have to adjust the yoke, and there was one or two other things that I kind of wanted to do to it. But yeah, it's getting there. The other one is much more usable. It's just that I'm looking forward to upgrading the monitor, because you can see how there's space up in here. The monitor I'm getting is the largest that you could possibly fit there. So that should be pretty cool. Scan games. See if that works. All right, so it's showing the resolution and refresh rate as the original. Or we don't need to do that. So you see how this is smooth scrolling here? That just is showing and proving that they're running this at the correct refresh rates. Any kind of weird bowing or any weirdness that you see is just a result of the monitor not being calibrated, because it's not done with any of it yet. But EW, I worked 7 days a week for over 6 years now. The only time I ever didn't actually work a full day was when I got hit with the Delta COVID, the real COVID. And even then, I still did about 2 hours worth of work a day. And that was about it. On vacation, I'll get up before my wife. I actually have only been on one vacation in the past couple of years, but I got up before, made sure I was able to get a bunch of work done. Yeah, it's just, I'm not complaining. It's the choice I made, right? If I wanted a cushy job, then I would have stuck with IT or development, but I want to do this. So you got to do it every day, or there's no bills paid. I am just looking for my audio cable now, this one's, the ROMs was an accident. I had every MAME ROM. I had like 5 different versions of the MAME ROMs ready. I don't know what happened with that, but this is my fault. I should have remembered to get this cable. Nope. I gotta start labeling these boxes. Oh. One more try. Third time a charm, maybe? Working for yourself is a lot of pressure. Oh, yeah. Way harder than working for somebody else. Oh, come on. I checked in every box. D subs, 35 millimeter, or 3.5. Left and right, 3 jack. What the heck? That's a bunch of BS. I got this cable somewhere. I got like 10 of them. So, keep checking. Sorry, everybody. This one was my fault. Well, it's twice this stream that I know I have something. Like, there's no doubt in my mind I have those MAME ROMs and I have this, and I can't seem to find it right when I need it. Okay. All right. I found the perfect shorty cable for this. Now, let's see if the volume comes out really loud. I'm going to reboot and see if I can figure out what else to do, but let's just try it like this. So this is simply the 3.5 millimeter out of the Raspberry Pi going into the JAMMA. And there's no audio still. I bet you I have to adjust the config file for that. I bet you that's all that is. Let me power this off, swap that file, and go from there. Because if you're using the RGB Pi software, it's going to be configured so that everything goes through its adapters, whether it's the SCART adapter or the JAMMA. So that makes sense. Yeah, it's funny, Bubba. A bunch of people have suggested over the years that I should do something like offer personalized installation services. So whether it's if you're far away, you get me over web chat to discuss and personalize your setup. If it's sort of local, go over and do it. Kind of like a high-end installer. But I have such a problem with that because your average person, if you start talking about that, they think, oh, that's outrageous. Why am I going to pay somebody to do that? Whereas if you go to any high-end audio installer, that's just the way. No one ever argues about it. They're just like, yep, that's how much it costs. So does anybody know which audio setting to use to enable the 3.5 millimeter? I'm going to reference my own website for this and see if I could find anything. All right, let me check my DT param audio on, which it is set for that. Not commented out. Yeah, should be working. So I guess let's just fire it up and give it a try again and see if we could configure it. And if not, I'll move on to MiSTer and we'll see if we get audio that way and just kind of go from there. All right. Drink 2. Vitamin energy drink. Stream, not sponsored by, but could be. Anybody work for them watching this? All right. So display. So there's no centering on this. There used to be. Sound. Volume. Audio jack. Requires reboot. Okay. Let's turn the volume down just in case. Now let's reboot and see if that fixed it. Which, you know, I'm doing this in real time, step by step, right? So all of that considered, I didn't really read a manual. I didn't do anything. I like how easy this is, both on the Antonio side and the RGB side. So it's no complaints. This is what your average person would probably run into. Still no audio though. Nothing at all. Let me just fire up a game and see if it loads the game, and if not, we'll just move over to the D10 MiSTer side of things. Still nice and smooth scrolling, but no, not no audio on here. Yeah, and the controls definitely need to be remapped, without a doubt. I want to try that one more time just for the heck of it. So controls, manage remap files. So there could be one there. Port 1 controls, Turbo Fire we don't need. Device type, RetroPad. Mapped port 1. Joy up, joy down, left, right. Yeah, there's just the letters here. It doesn't really show you how to select which is which. Let's go to resume. Did I get lucky? No, I reversed them, but still. Yeah, so button mapping, not the greatest still, but, you know, hopefully they'll figure something out at some point. Let me spin this around very slowly. Hey, Tony, thank you so much for the super chat. And also, this stream is sponsored by Tony, because now I have an extra DE10 that allows me to do exactly what I'm about to do. So, take this out here. We got ourselves a basically brand new DE10. And we're going to be connecting it with Antonio's adapter and trying to use that to interface to the JAMMA adapter. I'm going to grab my extra RAM module, which I think I have here. Nope, wrong box. Wags Mike, is that a Raspberry Pi? Yeah, that's using the RGB Pi software. And this is testing Antonio's stuff and how he interfaces this to JAMMA. Let me see here. No, wow, I'm just not really sharp today, huh? I cracked a beer before the stream or something. Forget those energy drinks. All right. So, yeah, this, by the way, this was what I was talking about, Belmont's still on. That's my favorite case. It's small, it's nearly silent, it works so good. so well. It's got the choice between VGA or Saturn out. I use the Saturn just so I could use a Saturn RGB cable. That one's just awesome. I should have another RAM module sitting right here. Nope, nope. A lot of extras in here. Yep. Perfect. I'll drop a link in the chat. I actually got to pull up the Retro Castle site anyway because I keep forgetting to buy a real-time clock. Where is that? So it's in the main MiSTer page, and then I'll also drop the direct link as well. You don't have to search for it. You'll have to sift through the store to find cases only, because if you see the high prices, that's for completed kits. It's not just for that's not just for any of the single cases or anything like that. So I always forget how these line up. Because this could absolutely go either way. Totally forget. Over here. So I think VGA and HDMI should be on the same side. So I think I have this correct here. Yeah, I think that's right. Cool power button right on the side. I like that. And I also realized I should use my pre-configured SD card from the other one, so that way I don't have to worry about anything else that needs remapping. I am going to back up the config directory real quick though, just so I don't have to mess with that. Sunfang, it's actually quite easy. All you really have to do is just go to their website, and if they're not in stock, they're usually only back ordered a few weeks now. They're more expensive than they were, but so is absolutely everything else on the planet. So it's not really something I'm worried about too much. All right, I think I have all of those backed up. That should be fine. Now I could just eject it and go there. Oop, my neighbor just started mowing his lawn. Hopefully that doesn't bleed through into this. I'll tell you though, I'll take a guy on a ride-on mower over a freaking wizard any day of the week. That was a nightmare. I've never hated a human more than that person. I never thought I could hate a human, but the 3-song wizard, really hope that guy got hit by a car. And yeah, I know how mean that sounds. I know. Okay. I think that's all we might need for this. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I could put the RAM stick on. Yeah, I think that's all I would need to do is put that RAM stick on. I guess I could try plugging it into the Oh, wow. Look at this. Something got messed up in shipping. Look at that, Tony. How lucky am I that I actually checked it? What are the chances that I would have powered that on? Ha ha! Always double check everything before plugging it in. That's funny. How would I compare RGB Pi OS to RetroPi or Emulation Station? Well, my two favorites for a long time now have been Recalbox, which is the one I just showed a few weeks ago, and RGB Pi. They're both excellent, and they're both just slightly different. So I would strongly recommend making a project out of this. You know, getting 2 micro SD cards, loading it up, both up, loading just your favorite games, nothing else, and try them both and see what fits your setup and your workflow better. And that's not like a politically correct, I have to be nice to both of them. Neither of them are perfect. The button mapping is still not great on either. And you're always going to run into emulation-based issues, but overall, I think they're both good. The only thing I'm not understanding on Antonio's is how to connect USB, but I guess we might not need to. This is good that we're going to try it with HDMI first, I guess. Yeah, plug that in. Let me grab the AC adapter. I'm just going to plug it in without the RAM module because I just want to see if it works. Wow, that's a big yes. I guess the other thing I could do is throw that USB keyboard on to see if the USB ports work or not, because that's obviously going to be a pretty big factor in if this works with the JAMMA. If not, I could try to get a hold of Antonio and see if I'm missing something, but let's just see. Okay, not working there. Not working on that port. Not working on that port. Okay, so does anybody know how to connect Antonio's adapters? The buttons work at least. And that was everything he had sent me in the case. Well, I'm going to unplug the power on this and add the RAM module. Then we can go back and try to figure out what else we got going on here. All right, RAM module added, plugging it back in. And I'll jump on Antonio's site and see if I'm missing something. No boot yet? Well, that's interesting. I got nothing once I added the RAM module. Oh. That is interesting. Did I put it on the correct side? Let me try it without the I/O board even plugged into it and see what happens. All right, well that works. All right, so there's definitely a few things I'm probably doing wrong here then. Let me I/O. I'm just looking for all of the designs he has that kind of looks like this. Not that one. Okay, that's kind of reminiscent of it. Yeah, all right. And this is also set so that the parallel port was on the same side as the network jack, which is exactly how I set it up here as well. So I believe I plugged everything in correctly. Let me grab my grab a USB hub and see. If anybody has any suggestions, by all means, fire away, because I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. Found it, USB hub. All right. This. I wonder if I'm supposed to use one of the cables that comes with the DE10 to connect these. That's a possibility. Hey Dan, I'm using all of Antonio's stuff. So his MiSTer I/O board going directly into the to his JAMMA adapter, and his Raspberry Pi I/O board going directly into the JAMMA adapter. All right, so USB is working. Let me check. Plug network in and just load a game just to make sure that the RAM module is also working, or if I have that in the wrong port or something. Imagine I do. I got the other one right here. Double check that with this one as well. Yeah, the RAM module should be in the exact correct space, lined up on the right pins and everything. But let me double check. So reload. I messaged Antonio. I imagine he's busy or something, but you know, he knew I was going to do this. It's not like I surprised him. I asked him to, or he offered to send it to me, and I said, "Would you be comfortable with me doing a live stream?" And he said, "Sure." So that's it. So this is, and so far every mistake I've made has been my fault, not anything else, except the audio. We still have to figure that out. All right, so we're getting we're obviously getting games loading in here, so that means that the RAM module is plugged in correctly. So let's switch this back. Let's unplug the DE10 and try to put his I/O board back on and see what happens. And if anybody here has his stuff, if you have any suggestions on how I'm supposed to connect to the USB side of things, please let me know. All right, all of the pins are perfectly lined up. There was another standoff jammed in there. That could have been the problem. That could have just been a short, and that also would have been my fault. So let me this RAM stick looks like it's getting in the way. That's interesting. Let me take this off, and then let me try putting this back on with side. And just using it without the RAM stick for a moment. We could just load up a TurboGrafx core or something to test. We can go back for that. Very odd. So HDMI port here would have been for that. Yeah. All right. Try this again. It's booting, but the HDMI cable was hanging out. Let me reinsert that. All right, so we have this. Let's go to a TurboGrafx. Old bonk. All right, so this is working, and it's working with the USB hub. So how do I get the USB hub connected to Antonio's USB hub? There was nothing. Let me double check that box again. Let me make sure there's no other cables. No. I thoroughly emptied that. There's definitely not there. Right. So let me message Lewis. Let me also double check. It looks like he has some kind of adapter. Yeah, there looks to be a very small adapter in there. Well, let's take a look. So there's no other adapter from that Antonio had sent me for this. There's a piece of random tape here, but it's not. Oh, wait. Wow, that's weird. I've never seen this before, but okay. My fault then. Oh, that's so weird. But, you know, if it works, it works. So that's another one that was on me. I just don't really get why you would do it this way, but that's totally on me, 100%. So you plug this USB adapter in right here. Okay, that's where that's connected to. And then when you put this on, plugs in like this, and it goes here. There. See those pins? That's that adapter, and it goes to that connector there. So I'm gonna need to be careful doing this. I don't want to mess anything up. So let me. So that was 100% my fault, but yeah, 100% my fault. No buts. I screwed that up. Sorry, Antonio. Sorry, everybody who's watching that I just wasted a couple minutes of your time, but. Okay, that's connected. That's actually, there should be really good documentation for this, but that's actually a pretty cool way to go about doing that. I like that. That is pretty neat. There should just be like a little index card or something that you get shipped with this that says like put it this way or something. So I'm just taking a look at my other MiSTer stuff over here, trying to see if any of my RAM modules are built differently and why this one was having a hard time fitting next to these. Side faces outward. They're both kind of built like that with the PCB in back. Yeah, let me try. I'll try adding the RAM module again. And I don't know why that wasn't going in, but maybe it's my fault too, but we'll see. The RAM modules, all right, so it is correctly oriented. I mean, that looks fine. Now, I think the PCB is just a hair too close. Maybe it was just pushing up against it, putting on a tiny bit of pressure. One of those things that like a fraction of a millimeter might have made a difference. So maybe just me unplugging it and plugging it back in. Maybe it'll just start working right now. We'll find out in a second. Okay, everything's working. This USB connection is working via the wireless remote or wireless keyboard that's plugged into Antonio's USB hub. So everything's working fine. I just made the bonehead mistake of not seeing that tiny little adapter. I actually like the adapter, so everything seems to be good. Now we could just try plugging that directly into JAMMA solution. All right, perfect. Unplug this stuff. Turn this around again. Careful, everybody. Gonna get a little dizzying for a second. Go slow. Right. So all of that seems to be working well. So let's plug this into the arcade machine and see how that works with it. There's also a volume knob over here that I did not mess with. So maybe since it's already plugged in and already connected, let me try that Raspberry Pi one more time, and then I'll switch back and go from here. We should see the Raspberry Pi or the RGB Pi logo up. All right, Antonio, you are so far winning this 100%, and I'm failing miserably. Who would have thought? Check the volume knob. What an asshole. Sorry, Antonio. So far, 0 problems. Only me not so sharp today. All right, so we could all hear and see that the JAMMA adapter is working perfect with the Raspberry Pi. All right, now I can switch this over to... So all I'm doing now, I'm taking out the network, I'm taking out the USB, and I'm taking out the audio cable, and that's it. Everything else is staying connected to my arcade machine. This is why I really want to like this solution, and I'm pretty sure I will as long as it just works the way it's supposed to. So far, so good, because you don't touch your arcade machine at all. The only thing that you're messing with is those 3 connections: video, audio, and network, if you even need network. Not sure which is the correct one of these to plug into, so we'll have to do some checking on audio here, but all right, so all right, so we have booted successfully. I forgot to plug the USB in. Let me do that now. Probably have to reboot it. So let me prop this up so that nothing's shorting. I'll do a full power cycle on this thing. Let me grab my wireless keyboard as well to map the buttons. But I mean, that's, if this thing works the way it should, which I have no doubts in this, then this is awesome to swap back and forth. So that's not working yet. However, is this working? No, not yet. What's the problem here? What am I doing wrong? All right, so this should, without any issue, just work with the USB controller from before. But it is not. Something's going on here. I hope. So I think what must be happening, maybe I need separate power for this as well? It would seem kind of odd to me. So it's apparently powered through the VGA port here. So the only thing I would say then, if power is coming through this USB or through the VGA connector on this JAMMA adapter here, that means I really wouldn't use any other solution except this, just in case. All right, now USB is just working. So I don't know what was up with that, but let me plug network back in as well as plug in the JAMMA adapter. See if that starts working. And that started working as well. So I don't know what I did wrong with that, but when in doubt, reboot, right? Let me leave that there. And let me map buttons. Right. Select this coin, start, skip. Menu is that single button. Back. That's it. So let's try X-Men versus Street Fighter, just to do it. Map the buttons. Right, left, down, up. Light punch, middle punch, heavy punch, light kick, middle kick, heavy kick. Start. Coin. No. By the way, that right there is why MiSTer still destroys Raspberry Pi emulation. It's only because that's how easy it was to map those buttons. As easy as humanly possible. There's no BS. There was nothing else. That was it. So as much as I am still a huge fan of those other solutions, that's why MiSTer is still just by far winning. Everything's just working. Ooh, this isn't. Ooh, what's up with this stick? Is this? I will have to check my. I'll have to check my other MiSTer setup to see if something's wrong with. The buttons are obviously working. Well, that's weird. Let me pop the control panel up real quick just to see. Oh, that's great. The key just broke apart. Yay. Very old plastic. Repair that with some epoxy. Okay, that's all it was. The harness popped off. Beautiful. Oh, I love problems like that. I was messing with it the other day, checking something out, and oh, I absolutely love it when it's something that easy. That is so nice. Okay, so once again, Antonio, it's not you. I swear to God, I haven't like been trying to tank this stream on you or anything. It really has just been my own stupidity, I guess. So let me drop that back in. I will fix that again at some other point. I got the 2 keys out here for when I need them. Well, that was embarrassing. Actually, did I leave the thing in there? So you might also notice that there's one other thing that isn't quite working right. Yeah, that fell in there. Let's see what's up with audio. Did I just plug that into the wrong thing? Totally plausible. All right, put that in there. Here. So that's I might have to take this out to show you what's up with this one. But audio is being challenging. So let me unplug this. Should just yank the power out. Let me try plugging audio. And if this works, I'll take it out and then just kind of show you why that might be a small problem. But we'll figure it out when it boots. If it boots. Ooh. Ooh. Got my hand in the fan. Plug. All right. So something's up here. Let me try to find a different audio cable. So I'll try to zoom down as well, so I could leave it all plugged in to show you what was up with that. But okay. So not sure if you're going to be able to see it or not, but that green audio jack was interfering with where the JAMMA connector plugged in. So that was the issue, that I couldn't get the audio cable plugged in along with that. Let me see if I could check the chat, see if I missed anything. Mr. Pete, volume knob was turned down. Reminds me when I spent 2 hours troubleshooting my N64 because I forgot to plug the jumper pack back in. Yeah, you and everybody else who's ever worked on an N64, we've all made that mistake. It's embarrassing, but isn't it great when you know that it's over with and it's nothing. You didn't ruin your N64. I'm not good enough to compete in any of those games. Marvel vs. Capcom and any of them. I'm able, or I was at one point in my life, able to play MK1 in a way where I wouldn't embarrass myself. And I would be able to play MK3 for a short period of time. But, I mean, it was one of those, like, well, be nice to Bob. He's a tech. He's not a, he's not a pro gamer. But that was basically it. I always play a Scorpion, so he's been my favorite since the 90s. I don't know why. It is what it is, I guess. I'm just looking for a more angled or something audio cable so I could try to get that in. That would be the only complaint I have so far if we don't discover that it's actually my fault, which is incredibly likely, as you've seen throughout this entire stream. Right, it's not in there. Let me try this one. Come on, audio. I gotta have some right angle audio adapter somewhere. At one point, I probably had every single cable known to man, and then over the years, I've just like, somebody will mention they need something. I'll be like, oh, take mine. I have so many of them. I would never use them up. And then the end of the year rolls around, and it's like, whatever happened to those cables? I needed that thing, or I need to plug this thing in, or something. This is unfortunately going to be another minute until I figure out what other kind of cable I can get for it. Yeah, you know, that's one of the best parts about video games. You could absolutely suck at them and still go up against a pro player and have a good time, have some fun. You know, you're not going to last very long, but you still could just enjoy yourself. Whereas, like, go to play American football against a pro, since you end up in the hospital, or MMA, or anything crazy. Oh, I found a big old sack of cables. All right, let's see if we can find any. These are the ones I was looking for before. I think they fell behind something else, which is why I didn't see them. But maybe this end is going to be a little bit shorter. So plug that in. Yeah, that's way more forgiving than that higher quality cable I was using. Okay. There, we got that. Last played. Not getting any audio. Oh, wait a minute. This could very well be the digital to analog board. So you actually have to make a change on the DE10 itself. I ran into this with Ivory's board, but like such a dork. So let me take this apart. All right, you would flip that switch there, and then let me put this back together. I think it was easier if I took the RAM stick off, put this back together, and then added it again. All right, line all that up, line all that. Okay. RAM stick went in. Board is still just a tiny bit snug over by the RAM stick, but it's not the end of the world. It's just, it is what it is. All right, let's try connecting audio. I want to make sure to get the USB port connected first, so there's no issues there. Plugging in. On. Oh, I didn't wait till the network kicked in. My fault. Do that all the time. I'm too impatient because I run everything off of RetroNAS. So in order for, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but in order for you to load a game on my systems, you have to wait until not only this MiSTer boot, but you get the little network icon up on the top as well. Done. Last played. Audio. So I think one cool thing to test would be a game with audio, just to, because you know the controller's working, everything else seems to be working. Let me test the sound on a. Well, I guess let me ask a couple of things. Let me ask the chat what you want me to test, while I'm waiting for your responses, I'm going to test Mortal Kombat Sega CD so I could test all 6 buttons, and so that I could also test audio. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the MiSTer K that I have. Ooh, a little loud. And kind of go from there just to see what we think might be better. It's going to be hard for you all to hear, but I'll try my best. Mortal Kombat, here we go. Oh, let me make sure the core is set to 6 button. 6 button node, yes. Save settings. All right. Options. Welcome to Sega CD. Oh, you know, it would help if I raised the darn thing up so you could see the screen a little better. Here we go. Audio sounds great. 6 button controls work perfect. Probably should have done that MSU or MD Plus, whatever it is, where they put the arcade soundtrack in. I love how the Sega CD has to load the finishing moves. Just double checking the other player controls, and then I'll move over. Then I'm going to check the chat, then I'll move over to the MiSTer Cade. Yep. Great. Perfect. Let me check the chat, swap it over to MiSTer Cade, and see if I could see or feel the difference. But this thing's been performing great. Mid-geek crisis. Yeah, it's dude, I gotta tell you, man, I was half asleep this morning, and I was scrolling through social media and saw some crappy drama, and I saw your name, and I was like, oh no, I really like that guy. And then I realized you weren't the one causing drama. You just commented on, like, look at this idiot. I'm like, ah, good. I like him. I'm glad he's not a crazy person. So thank you for not being a crazy person. Or maybe you're a good kind of crazy. Well, Lewis just got back to me after I already figured it out. All right. See what else we got. Hey, what's up, Dan? Gotta see that FMV. I was just talking about you in the weekly podcast. I'm almost done recording it. I just wanted to wait till after the stream to record the very last part. I talked about the black buttons in the NES stream. How much does the I change for the Antonio board? 0. Nothing. All you got to do is remap the controller. Isn't that cool? I don't have time to lag test it today, but hopefully somebody may have already. So let me check Pork's stuff. Let me see if he's got, MiSTeraddons.com, latency. I'll drop a direct link. Trying to look, Antonio. No, nothing. Oh, shit, we might have to. Got it working. Perfect. Time to turn it off now. Yeah, that's funny. Did I get the audio fading in and out to circumvent YouTube copyright strikes? No, that's probably the noise gate I have. So let's stick this thing back in. Mr. Cade. I actually have another one of these. Does anybody need one? I mean, no discount. You get it at cost, but also no scalper. I'm not jacking the price up if they're out of stock or anything, but let me know if you're interested. All right, let me put this sucker back on. Network. So anybody that saw the very beginning of the stream saw that the kick harness was kind of tight to get in. So I'm going to leave that in, and I'm going to take that out with pliers. That would be the only, so far, the only 2 complaints are the audio jack and that. Those are minor things, by the way. And I'll show a close-up of the audio jack in a moment just to kind of get an idea of it. All right, so plug Porks back in. Fire this thing up. And his was untouched, so we shouldn't have to remap anything. It should just be there. Once again, you gotta wait for the network emblem to show up, otherwise we're not gonna be able to get anywhere. Oh, here we go. Console. D. Once again, well, the kick's not even connected, so it doesn't really matter if there's a Mortal Kombat. And let's see how the audio quality is. So Porks is definitely louder. That's definitely true. I think they both sound pretty good. I think maybe Pork wins a little bit on the amp side of things. But this isn't a massive difference. This isn't like, holy crap, one is so much better than the other. I think it's just a little louder, and it probably has a more full amp overall. But there's certainly nothing wrong with the other one at all. Nice. All right. So let me show, let me see if I could zoom into this somehow to show you the difference. going to be hard because it's still connected, and I'm going to need to probably use a tool to pull that connector out. But all right. So it might be kind of hard to see, but where the green audio jack is on the I/O board, that right there is where, you know what? I actually have that app. Let me see if this thing could work. What's up, Lewis? Glad you could jump on for a sec. Yeah, I did stop using Whatnot. It's all my fault because I didn't sign a contract, but I'm pretty sure they screwed me over for at least $1,000. So, no thank you. And they had the balls to ask me to keep working for them for basically nothing. No. Yeah, man, your new job looks like it's a heck of a lot of fun. All right, so you all complain about the noise gate. Noise gate's gone. Thank you. All right. So let me grab. Let's see, where's that Epoch Cam one? Is that still working? Okay. Oh, look at that great view of the underneath of my desk here. Yeah, perfect. All right. So that is, let's just call it. All right, here we go. Very, very sorry for the, bring back the noise gate. No. Very sorry for the feet shot here and for the shaky cam, but this is definitely going to be easier to show you what I'm talking about. Let me sit down. So, that is kind of stuck in there, which is fine. Worst comes to worst, I could just unbolt these and pull it out. I just don't want to, normally I pull it by the cable to remove it, which, yeah, I know you're never supposed to do it, but it's never that snug. So that is going to be, that's like an annoyance that Antonio should probably look into. It would not, when I talk about the overview of this thing on the weekly podcast, I'm not even going to mention it. This is just something that if you're into this stuff enough, or I'll casually mention it, but just take note of that. Also, the RAM module presses up against the I/O board, which is not a problem because there are no shorts, but if possible, Antonio should remove like 0.5 millimeter from that side, or maybe he did and the production house kind of messed it up. But that is another issue right there. So that's the audio jack, and that's how you have to connect it. So that is definitely a problem, because you see how that's kind of smushing up and bending it. And using the VGA connection to power it, that is 100% fine if you're using Antonio's JAMMA adapter and Antonio's I/O board. But if not, then that's going to be a problem. And it looks like there's a power connector on there that you could probably power it separately, and there's that volume knob that I forgot about, like a moron. So overall, I mean, this thing does look cool, and here's another close-up of the very neat USB adapter that I spent 5 minutes trying to figure out where it was, and it was taped to it the whole time. I'm such a moron sometimes. So, the good. So I guess the problem with stuff like this is if they perform as advertised, there's not much to talk about. So the good is basically everything. The bad is that's a little snug, that's too snug, that's too snug. Be cautious of power over VGA, not a problem, just be cautious. And the audio amp so far isn't as good as MiSTer Cade, but it's probably a little bit louder than JAMMA's. So, you know, it holds its own. It's not I would not, if none of these other things bother you, don't let the audio be a deciding factor. It's too close to really make a difference. But overall, I do like this, and I'm really seriously considering using this as my main JAMMA solution because of how easily I could switch back and forth between MiSTer and Raspberry Pi. So I said at the beginning I had an agenda in this stream. I wanted to like it for this, and it absolutely holds up 100%. Nothing about this scenario so far has made me think, oh, well, it's not for me. The only other thing we could do is lag test, but I forgot how to do that again, so Lewis, if you had some time, cool. If not, maybe the next time you and I hung out, we could just do the lag testing on it. But I'm pretty sure what Antonio was using is open source stuff that's rated at super low latency. So this is probably going to be 3 milliseconds in single player and 6 milliseconds in two-player mode. But don't quote me on that. I'm talking out my ass. This is just me trying to guess because I'm not sure if I have the tools and everything set up here. So once again, I apologize for the shaky cam. I'm walking and doing this. With this I guess since I'm walking around, I can give you a little preview. That's the chassis, and underneath these boxes are the CRT that's going to be going in here hopefully soon. I've said that for over 6 months now, but hopefully soon. Get an extra power supply, a bunch of extra stuff, and yeah, that's stuff from the last stream. And okay. No, Lewis, it's just the alcoholic shakes. All right. You need a VGA extension cable to link them? I don't want to. I don't want to. I like it all direct connected. The more cables you add to something like that, the more chance of some kind of video interference. But I guess if I found like a 1-foot VGA cable, which I probably have, that might work. But I could take a look. So I haven't had a beer in quite a while. I could definitely need one of those, or I could definitely use one of those. So I guess we're winding it down here. Let me take a look for that USB. Geez, that's how long I've been looking for that thing. I'll take a look for that short VGA cable, and I guess the next time we stream, I'll try to do the lag testing of it. But we could kind of just go from there afterwards. Let's see what else we got here. There's my VGA, and any other questions or anything, please fire away. Unless you're really bored, Lewis. I mean, it's I definitely have a little more time if you wanted to. Ooh, power just flipped out here. Did we lose the stream? Luckily, I have my UPSs connected to everything in this place, so including the Wi-Fi and my computer. Let me know in the chat. No, okay, good. Woohoo! Oh, and now I'm hearing a siren outside. Well, geez, I really hope somebody didn't just crash into a pole or something. I hope this was lightning or something fun. All right. So now it's time to sift through a sack. Let's see if we got a shorty VGA cable in here. Yes, yes we do. All right. So one side is going to need an adapter on it. Okay. That should be fine. Actually, let me put that old audio cable back in and let me kind of redo this for a second. But yeah, that'll work. Okay. Someone spotted Bob. It was Voltar sending Animal Protective Services. One of these days, I will tell you all the true story behind where all of those jokes originated from. The only thing I'm going to say is it was a 100% true story that had nothing to do with me whatsoever, which is why I'm okay even hinting about it. But it's not a good story, so I don't want to ruin the mood here. But yeah, that was a thing. I know I have a coupler. I know I have a bunch of couplers probably right here. So let me take a look at that. Oh, perfect. Was the first thing that I found when I opened the box. That never happens. All right. All right, so we have that connected like this. Now audio can be connected this way, about the same. Let me remove this. I still like direct connecting. You know, no disrespect to anybody or anything. This is a totally fine method of doing this. I just prefer direct connections when possible. But let's use it this way and let's see what happens. Because I guess another advantage of this is I could mount this JAMMA thing up against the wood here. And then that way I have all of this stuff just dangling out for whenever I need to switch between MiSTer and Raspberry Pi. That's certainly a possibility. So, yep, you can still sort of see what I'm doing, right? So I guess when I talk about this in the podcast, all I'm going to mention is that it worked great. I don't think there's a need to mention the audio because it's not like it's bad. It's just, it's a little better than one other option, a little worse than the other option. There's nothing wrong with it. So I think the only thing to really mention then is, because if you use it with the extension cable like this, or with the short VGA cable, there's nothing interfering with each other. Not getting power now. I kind of thought this was going to happen. Yeah, I kind of thought this was going to happen. So what if this VGA cable I'm using doesn't have every single pin connected? Aha. All right, I could try using a VGA extension cable. We can see if that works. Yeah. So now you see another reason why I'm a fan of the direct connects here. I believe that box is up over here somewhere. Where is that? VGA to BNC. VGA extension. All right, whole other sack to try. All right, this one's sort of short, so good enough. We'll try this. No. So let me plug this back in directly again just to make sure that that wasn't a thing. Yeah, plugging it in directly, everything works again. So it's that we need to find a VGA extension cable that has all, or even just a VGA cable that has every single pin connected. And I've run into this before, most do not. Because in VGA, there was really, other than multiple grounds, there were 5 signals, and that's it. RGB, HV. I'm gonna unplug the audio so we don't keep hearing that pop. Okay, so we got one. We got one, and there's some weird interference, and it's not fully booting. So let me do a full power cycle just in case. But that could be that the cable is long and thin and not providing the right amount of amps all the way through. Yeah, this one is not working the way it's supposed to. I'll try one more time. Nope. And just once again here, let me plug it in directly just to show you. This should go right up. If it doesn't, maybe I missed. No, see? Yep, perfect. Oh, well, you can't see. I apologize. So, well, that was dumb. So what it was doing is I was getting power, and I was seeing something load up on the screen, like the white fuzzy background, but it wasn't actually making it to the menu. So let me try it again here and see about this one. Okay, we're getting power. I'm getting video on screen, and let's see if it actually makes it to the menu. It just clicked like it rebooted. Yes, all right, so one out of 3 extension cables does what we need it to do. All right, so let me plug this back in. And let me also try another audio thing, but with oh, now I'm not getting any controls? What? Let me do a full power cycle. I also want to try to make sure that the volume was all the way up, because that could have been it for the Antonio's JAMMA adapter. Yeah, it's doing a weird double reboot thing again. Now it rebooted a 3rd time. 4th time, no. So that's not, so something's up. The cable's not working the way that it should. So all 3 of my extension cables do that. So I'm definitely going to put my money on that. This should be direct connected, or you should buy a cable that is very specifically sold to you by Antonio so that he knows that this is all going to work properly. So let me plug this back in. The only other thing that's annoying but not anybody's fault is when you switch between MiSTer and Raspberry Pi, you have to realign your the settings on your arcade machine. So you have to recenter the geometry. So it's not the end of the world, it's not a big deal, but it's certainly not the easiest thing if you're switching back and forth quite a bit. Oh, not that. Wrong one, buddy. All right. Let me try a power cycle again. Because that happened the first time I tried it, is I plugged in the USB after it booted and I didn't get a signal. So, which is only a big deal if you're testing. You know, once this thing is working and you have it all plugged in and power it all on at the same time, that's just a non-issue. So let me place this here. Turn it back on and see what we got. I always put that other audio cable back in. Boots to the menu. Arcade stick works. So that was just a matter of plugging it in the wrong order. I will get the screen up in a second. I just want to get this loaded. Console. All right, let me load this up. Let me grab the other audio cable, and then we'll just end this on the final audio test. But this thing's a win. The only thing that I will want to do is lag test it, so I'm going to hold off on the write-up until that. But that should probably be a couple of days, and it should not be a big deal. So let me... Just going back through and double checking the chat questions. Yeah, you know, this is 2 in a row that I thought I was going to be doing just a very laid back, casual stream that, you know, we probably knew the results before the stream even started. And now this is the second time where I learned something very important. The last one was that paper trick for the time sleuth if you have an LCD monitor that's being a pain. And this one is the double checking that when you'd have the power over VGA like Antonio does, that you need to make sure that you're using the right VGA cable. So hopefully Antonio stocks these. I didn't see them in his store, or maybe there's just one really common brand that Antonio uses that we could all just pick up. Like what if Amazon Basics has it or something? That would certainly be easier. It could possibly be that there isn't enough voltage to traverse the cable. It would be the impedance of the cable that would drop the volts and amps. Yeah, it's a possibility if it's a true 75 ohm cable, but all right, let's plug this audio in. Let me readjust the camera, and then we will say goodbye in a minute or two. All right. Space Harrier, good old Space Harrier. Whoa, it's working without the cable? It was not doing that with the Pi. That's really funny. That is, now we gotta try the Pi again, obviously, but holy shit, that's funny.
Get ready.
That's hysterical. Okay, so you don't need the audio with MiSTer. So let's try JAMMA one more time and see what we got. We could also demo how quick this is to switch between. All right. That was USB, that was the adapter itself. Now I'm just going to plug in network. The network does kind of interfere a little bit with the positioning, but you could wrap it around so it stays nice and snug. And let me power this back up. I'll see if I could talk to somebody who's been working on RGB Pi and see if they could walk you through what they think an acceptable answer for the button remapping is. I also wonder if there's something I have to change to the config INI file on the Raspberry Pi one in order for it to work with audio. It could just be MiSTer only, but we'll see. Yeah, nothing. However, I'll plug this in. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to just simply check Antonio's site real quick and see, but I think that's very interesting, kind of a win. Just going right to the link that's right here in the description. Just double checking the adapter and going from there. All right, so I got JAMMA adapter, and then I don't see his Raspberry Pi adapter on here. I'll keep looking though. I think this is it. I think he's sending me, I think he sent it without the case. I think this could be the same one. And the SCART adapter is here. And that does not have an audio jack in there. So I wonder, there's no information on the website whatsoever about, for more info, join this Telegram group? No, absolutely not. So that could just be it. It could just be that this thing does have audio as well. I just need to update the INI file for it. Nothing. In case of PC, you need to connect also a jack cable for audio. That's fine, but it still doesn't mention Raspberry Pi. So I guess I'll just have to talk to Antonio before I follow up. But I messaged him already. I haven't heard back. Lewis, if you, if you have an easier way to get a hold of him, or if you have one of these, please let me know. Okay. Wags Mike has an idea. All right. Fuck it. Let me try it. I am by no means an expert on how to code that stuff, but I've been doing it long enough to know that that's not a joke. Mike's not about to get me to explode my my Raspberry Pi adapter. So that in. Says, I don't have the Antonio JAMMA because I live on the 5th floor and don't have an arcade cab. Well, you work with a bunch of big dudes now. Get them to help you move it up. All right, so I'm going to comment out the original audio and just simply add the one that Mike suggested. Boom. Let's see what we got. Calling an airlift to get a candy cab up. That's what I'm talking about. Way to use your resources at your advantage. All right. Unplugging the audio and crossing our fingers. the other thing I'd like to test out with this is what if I had a PC? Yeah, no audio. It looks like, according to Antonio's site, it looks like it would work, but I would obviously power the PC separate and just have the VGA in going. Yeah, now there's no audio at all through. So that, good call on the line, but that was definitely not the answer. I could try one more if you have any other ideas, but if not, that's, I could still consider this a pretty successful stream all in all. You know, Mike, you're right. You are totally right about that. I did set 3.5 millimeter as the primary sound before. So then for me to test this correctly, I should set that back. Good call. Thank you. All right, let this boot again. Oop, thunder is starting. We're supposed to have some crazy storms. So this is a perfect time to end the stream right after this, just in case I lose power or something. All right. Sound, audio jack, requires reboot. Oop, nope. Shut down, reboot. There should also be some music that might auto start, so let me, no, I guess not. All right, let me just fire this up. I didn't hear the ding that you normally would hear when that starts. So, all right, so there's a few more tests to run before I do my write-up on this, but I'll tell you right now, I like it so far. You know, I got to figure out Raspberry Pi audio, I got to figure out extension cable, and I got to do a solid lag test, not just a, it feels nice. But, yeah, and you know, this is, by the way, shout out to Antonio, right? He sent me this a long time ago. I just this morning was like, hey, you want to jump on and live stream this with me? And he probably had other plans. He's probably at work. So no shade whatsoever to Antonio. Everything I think went pretty darn good. I just have some more questions to be answered, and that's basically it. But yeah, so I like it. Any other questions? Does anybody have anything else before I head out of here? I'll leave the stream on for another moment as I clean up, just to kind of get stuff together, but thank you, of course, for the super chats. Those are amazing and really part of what keeps these going. Thanks for hanging out, because it's way more fun with people to hang out with. All right, well, I guess that's it for everything. So you're all awesome. Thank you so much, and I'm gonna go record the podcast. See you.